Alright guys, so if you are an independent band or artist and you want to know what the best way is and what the step-by-step process is to release your music today, this video is for you. Let's get started. These days, by far, the most popular ways to listen to music is through various online streaming services like Spotify, Apple Music, Pandora, iHeartRadio, and many others. If you want your music to be accessible by a large audience, those are the kinds of platforms that you want to get your music onto. But how do you do it exactly, and what's involved? Those are the questions that I'm going to answer in this video, and basically I'm going to outline a 4-step process to release your music. And just so you know, I want this to be a practical guide that you can actually use. So I am going to get into a few important technical details. Now, like I said in the beginning, I'm going to assume that you already have some music that you would like to release. I'm not going to teach you how to write songs or even record songs. But once you're at that point where you're ready to release your music, this is where this multi-step process comes into play. Now, let me outline the 4 steps and then we'll talk more about each one. Step number 1 is mastering. Step number 2 is artwork. Step number 3 is distribution. Step number 4 is promotion. Alright, step number 1, mastering. For those of you that don't know, mastering is basically the final technical step to prepare your recording for mass consumption. At its most fundamental level, mastering is about getting the volume of the track to match that of the other songs that you're going to hear on a platform. Have you ever had that experience? Maybe you're listening to like classical music or something and the song is really quiet, and so you turn up the volume, and then later on in the song it gets really loud and you have to turn it down again. A track that has been properly mastered won't have any issues like that, and it's also going to give a very uniform sound if you're releasing an entire album. It's going to make each track sound a little bit similar to the next one. Now obviously there's a lot more involved in mastering and I'm massively oversimplifying it for the purpose of this video, but the whole point here is you do not want to skip this step after you have your finished mix. Fortunately, today, to get something mastered, you do not have to spend very much money on it. There's one company I've used several times. I'll put a link for them down in the video description. It costs about $300 to master an entire album. If you're just releasing a single, I think it's around $35. And those are very cheap prices for mastering. Now, another great way to do it is to get your own mastering software, something like Isotope Ozone. And sure, you have to pay for the software up front, but then it's going to take care of your mastering needs from there on out. I'll put a couple of options down in the video description, but my main point here with step number 1, mastering, is don't skip the mastering. Okay, step number 2 is artwork. Now this is something that kind of gets overlooked a lot now that we don't really have like album covers and CD covers anymore like we used to. Despite that, though, you still need artwork when you release something. Now, if you don't have any close friends who are incredibly talented illustrators, one great way to go about this that I've done many times is to use a site like Creative Market or Pond5. These are sites that will sell stock artwork and stock graphics. There's a huge variety on places like that, and it's actually quite affordable. Now, the only downside to this is that usually when you buy artwork like that, you're buying a license to use it, you're buying the permission to use it, but you're not buying exclusive permission to use it. So basically, there's a chance that someone else could get that same artwork and use it in their release as well. That being said, there's hundreds of thousands of different pieces of artwork or graphics that are available, and you can always add your own text or crop or flip the image and change the color on it. Just make little differences to it to make it more your own. And again, guys, this stuff is really affordable. You can spend like $10 and get some really good artwork. Here's an example of something I released a while back. This is a cover of Queen of the Reich by Queensryche, and I wanted, a cool kind of 80s metal looking cover, and I got this picture of this girl and this tiger here, and I sort of cropped it and added my text, and it came out great. Alright, so now let's say you've got your mastering done, you've got your artwork. Now we're on to step 3, which is distribution. So there's all of these online platforms, right? Spotify, Apple Music, all these different things. If you really wanted to, you could go to each one of these places individually, make an account, upload your stuff, and then, each month you have to keep track of one separately. You could do that, But realistically, nobody wants to do that. It just creates a ton of work for you. What I do is I use a service like DistroKid. This is basically a company that acts as a digital music distributor. I have one account with them, and then they handle all these different platforms to get my music out there. Now there's a little coincidence here. The service that I use for distribution is DistroKid, and also this video is sponsored by DistroKid. But wait a second, before you start accusing me of being just another corporate shill on YouTube, take a look at this screenshot here. I have been using DistroKid since 2013, and I continue to use it because it works so well for me. DistroKid noticed that I had an account with them and that I make YouTube videos, and they sent me an email and they said, hey, you want to make a video? And I said, yeah, it's a good service, I'll make a video. So guys, DistroKid, and actually this is true for everything that I'm putting in this video, this is the stuff that I actually use myself. Now, when it comes to the actual distribution process, it's very easy, very straightforward. You're just putting in the name of the track, your artist's name, you upload the actual track, you upload your artwork, and you can even put in things like lyrics or liner notes. You upload and input all of this stuff and you click submit, and your music will be out there in just a few days. Now the best part of all of this is, like the artwork and the mastering, this is relatively inexpensive to do. They have a basic plan that only costs $20 a year, and you can upload an unlimited number of songs as an artist there. Now, let's say you want to start a label or something and you want to represent a bunch of different artists, a bunch of different bands, and you want to have options like special release dates and so forth, then you can upgrade to a more expensive plan. But I think even the most expensive one is still less than $100 a year. They even have some crazy options, like you can decide what you want to do with your music after you die. Personally though, for me, I'm not even convinced that the universe will continue to exist when I'm dead. Sometimes I think it's just all in my mind. Now guys, one last thing before we move on to the fourth step is down below in the video description, I'll put a special code that you can use. So when you go and sign up on DistroKid, you can use that code and save a little bit of money. Okay, so let's move on to step number 4. So let's say you've done the mastering, you've got the artwork, and you've got the music actually released. Well, now you need to tell people that the music is out there. You need to promote it. Once again, the internet comes to the rescue. Through the internet behemoth known as Facebook, you can do some incredibly effective and very cost-efficient advertising to get your music out there to the people that will enjoy it. Now, Facebook and Instagram are owned by the same company, so you can actually advertise on both of those platforms with just one account. Anybody with a Facebook account can open an ad account with them. Now, for the ad itself, you can use something like a static image, like maybe your artwork that you used, or maybe you have a video clip from a live show that you did, or a clip from a music video. It just has to be some kind of visual ad, and then you can put your music with that. Ad videos usually are about 15 seconds to 60 seconds long, and you can format them in different aspect ratios depending on how you want them to look. Now, the real secret to all of this advertising stuff is the targeting. Because let's say you've got an ad for your latest Norwegian black metal release. You don't want to show that ad to someone whose favorite band is Mannheim Steamroller. You want people who like your style of music to see your ad. Through the Facebook ads, you can get very, very specific as to who is going to see your ad. So you can choose something like, I want guys that are 18 to 35 that live in the United States and enjoy listening to Megadeth, Metallica, and metal covers of Mannheim Steamroller to see my ad. You can select that targeting and then they will see your ad. Now, you're paying for this advertising, so how much is it going to cost you? $5 to $10 a day is a very common ad budget that people use. Now, you will want to run that for a while. So let's say you're doing $10 a day for a month, right, when you release your new music to get the word out there. Well, that's going to cost you $280. So it's on the same level as paying for the mastering of an album. But again, you're getting the music out there to the exact kind of people that will actually enjoy it. And guys, this process that I'm outlining, this is the exact process that I use when I release my solo music, or Raptor Command, the heavy metal tribute to Elon Musk, or any other project that I'm doing. This is easy to do, relatively inexpensive, it works, and you can do it as a completely independent artist. Alright guys, now to wrap everything up, don't forget about the links down in the video description below. Definitely check that out. And if you guys have any questions about the 4 different steps that I outlined there, feel free to leave your comments below. And guys, if you like videos like this and you want to see more and you have not already subscribed, please consider subscribing right now. If you enjoyed the video, give me a thumbs up, hit the notification bell, and I'll see you soon.